Hey everybody, it's Cody with Lazy Goblins coming at you with another game dev tip. Alright, so this tip is a question I hear a lot from a lot of people, a lot of beginners, and it is how to become a game developer. How do I become a game developer? How do I start making games? Pretty simple, actually. So the simple answer is just jump in and get started. Okay, so sure, you need some steps in a process to actually start jumping in and get started, right? I can't just say that and let you guys be free, be off into the wild. No. So in this video, I will tell you the steps that you can take in order to get on the path to making your very first game. So the first step is to find yourself a game engine. Yes, you can go on to research how to create your own game engine, but you're not here to make game engines, right? You're here to make games. The best way to do that is to find a game engine that's already out there that you can use to skyrocket you and speed you on into making your very first game. So find a game engine. Don't spend too long on this part though, because you want to start making games as soon as possible. So here are some game engines that I would recommend and a little blurb about them. So the first game engine I would recommend is Unity. Unity is a very popular game engine that has a great community and thousands upon thousands of tutorials and resources out there. This is the engine that we use for our games. It uses C# programming language, but if you have never programmed before, don't fear, because like I said, there's plenty of resources and tutorials out there, one of which is Bracky's. He's awesome. There's also Blackthorn Prod, Saiku, there's a bunch out there. Just type into YouTube Unity tutorials and boom, you'll find a whole bunch. Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine is a great engine if your main focus is to create games for either PC or console. Unreal also has a very wonderful community of devs out there and a bunch of resources as well, one of which is Matthew Palehi. Hope I pronounced that right. Sorry if I didn't, Matt. Unreal uses blueprints as well as C++. Don't be afraid by the C++ though. You could do everything in blueprints and you'll be totally fine. Blueprints is like a visual way to program. It's like a visual scripting. You connect one node to another one. Also, so Unreal is mainly suited towards 3D games. I tried to make a 2D game a couple years back and it wasn't the best experience. That might have changed though within the last couple of years. So I'd be sure to research that if you want to use Unreal for a 2D game. Another game engine is Godot, or Godot. Godot. Godot is a very amazing and lightweight engine. When you download Godot, it is very small. Download of I think around 30 megabytes, and it's a straight up executable. It is amazing. Godot, it's a relatively new engine as far as being known to the public. It's on Godot 3.1 right now, I believe, but it is updating very rapidly. Godot is great for 2D and getting better and better with 3D. It uses a Python-like scripting language called GDScript, which is great for beginners and also has C# support as well as visual scripting elements. Lately, Godot has been getting a lot of resources out there. One that has been really killing it right now and has amazing tutorials is GDQuest. Be sure to check him out. GameMaker. GameMaker is a fantastic game engine as well if you're looking to get into 2D game development. It uses its own language called GML. It stands for Game Maker Language. And again, has plenty of resources out there. It also has drag and drop functionality if you don't want to program right away, but I would highly recommend just diving into GML because a lot of the resources that you'll find out there, they do work with GML, so it's better just to get started with GML and get used to it. A good resource for GameMaker is Heartbeast and Sean Spalding. I will link all the creators' channels below in the description, so be sure to check those out. I'll also kind of go into the different categories of all that stuff. Okay, so now you have your game engine. Now what? What do? You open it. It is so intimidating. It can be. Don't worry though. So now that you picked your game engine, go on YouTube, find a tutorial online, and just start creating. check out the content creators channels. Like I said, I'll separate them into their specific engine categories. Find a tutorial on there that's more so a tutorial series, kind of from start to end, and just follow that along until you get to the very end. You just want to start jumping in there, getting used to the engine, getting used to the language, learning as much as you can, and getting a feel for how the whole game dev process works. Once you do that and finish up that series, then give yourself a round of applause, because you just made your very first game. Doesn't it feel great? Go have some people play it. Go have your friends, family, everybody play it. Put it online for everybody to see. I actually made a video about putting yourself out there. Document the process if you want to as well. People love seeing that. So if you want to and you don't feel scared, make a Twitter, post your process, post your game out there for others to play. Maybe try uploading it to itch.io. That's a great way to get people to play it if it's a PC game or a Mac game. Or just try to learn the process of how to get on the phone. That could be cool as well. Alright, so you followed a tutorial series and you don't want to be stuck in tutorial mode. It's time to set foot on your own journey and make your first solo game. Oh my gosh. So exciting and so terrifying at the same time. Never fear though, because technically you aren't alone. I also made a video on that. Man, I'm doing a lot of plugging today. Yes, I did make a video on that called You Are Not Alone. Anyways, enough about that. We're here to help you make your first solo game. So, you followed this tutorial series. Now it's time to make your first game. Sit down for a while and think of a game idea. Big tip, start out very, very, very small. So just take a little bit, try to think of a small idea, and once you got your small idea, guess what you gotta do? You gotta make it smaller. Seriously, go back, take out as much as you can, and make it smaller. Now that you've done that, guess what? Do it again, 5 more times. Seriously, you want your very first game to be as small as possible, because your main goal with this one is to have a game created from start to finish, and you want to get to the end goal. You want to get a finished game, because it will help move you forward. It will get you in the mindset of finishing games, because trust me, everybody, all game devs have a whole folder of prototypes that never see the light of day. So you kind of want to get at least a couple of finished games under your belt. It's great to prototype ideas. It's great to throw them away. It's gonna happen. But you want to know the process of starting and finishing a game. You want to get finished games under your belt as much as possible, because it helps with your motivation. It helps you moving forward. So now you've chipped away at your idea and it's the smallest that you can get it. Perfect. Now what you gotta do, you gotta break some more stuff. Not your game idea though, that's perfect. It's as small as you got it. So for example, say your game has a mechanic, the same mechanic as Flappy Bird, but every time the player taps the screen, it shoots a bullet. So every time they tap, it goes up and it shoots a bullet. Break this down. Break it down and do it one piece at a time. So the first step would be to register when the player has tapped the screen, right? That's the very first thing. You got to get that input from the player. So go to Google, type in how to get tap input, whatever game engine that you chose. So like, since I'm using Unity, I would type in Google, how to get tap input, Unity, and a whole bunch of stuff will pop up. Just go through there. Once you got that figured out, go to the next step. So the next step would probably be getting the player to actually jump and move upwards once that tap happens. So then do that, and so on and so forth. And then by the end, you'll have broken everything down into smaller pieces. It helps you moving forward. It helps you from not getting overwhelmed as much. Because when you think of a game and you're like, oh man, I gotta make this character move up when I tap, but also shoot a bullet. That's a really small thing to do, but it seems so complicated. it is when you think of it as a whole. That's why you gotta break it down into individual pieces. And that's it. That's my tips on how to start creating your very first game. Find a game engine. Don't take too long on it, because you want to start jumping in right away. Once you found a game engine, find a tutorial series on that game engine. Go through it from start to finish. Congratulations, you made your first game. Next, make your first solo game. I guess you don't have to be solo. You can work with a teammate if you want. But have a small idea, break it down as much as you can, and then break all your mechanics and everything down as much as you can as well. Break it down into little pieces. That way you don't overwhelm yourself, and it's small, achievable goals. And it's basically just to not overwhelm yourself. Because if you're like, how to get player to jump when I tap and shoot a bullet at the same time, you won't find as much. But if you break it down into small pieces, you'll be able to find it. I believe in you. You can do it. You guys got this. So be sure to share that game with us, because I definitely want to see your guys' games. Even if it's just from the tutorial series, jump in our Discord, share it with everybody. We would love to help you guys out. If you have any questions, again, Discord's a great place. Google's also an amazing place. But be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification for Monday. That'll be our next video day. And leave a comment below. If you're already a game developer and you're watching this and you got this far to the end, put down your tips that you have for anybody that would be starting from scratch. And also maybe tips that you wish you would have known. If you could have gone back in time and told yourself a few things right before you were about to get into game dev, what would they be? Comment below. All right, guys, until next time, see you all later. Keep creating. Have a good one.